Okay, here we are with the N62 4.8 liter engine on an E53 X5. First part in removing the engine cover is to grab a T30 screw bit to loosen up these 4 screws on top of the so the rear two are a little troublesome to get to. As you can see, there's not enough clearance to have the screwdriver with the bit to open it up. So you can take the bit off, use your hands to hand loosen it, or you could put the bit on there and use a set of pliers to try to loosen up the screws. Once you loosen them up, use your hand and the bit by itself to loosen the last back screws. Once all 4 screws are off, carefully lift the engine cover out of the way. Put it aside. Next up, we'll be removing the side engine covers. These are done by using your hand and loosening by wiggling and pulling up and away these 2 little grommets from each side. They snap into these 2 rubber holes over here. Next, we're going to use a 5mm socket to loosen up this screw that holds down these protector plastic pieces on top of the coils. To lift up the coil, use your finger to pry up the backside. This will open up, and then you'll be able to disconnect the plug from the coil. Move it out of the way, and then you should be able to wiggle and pull the coil out from the engine. So here's a tip that may seem obvious to some and not so much to others. To get to the last bank, the last spark plug here on the driver's side, it's all the way in the back. The best way of getting to it is to use a set of extensions for your socket system, and basically build upon one another. Put your 5/8 inch socket grabber, drop it onto the spark plug, and then slowly build extensions so that you can get your socket wrench in there. It's a tight fit, but eventually you'll get it in there. Loosen it up, and then when it comes time to pull it out, start taking the pieces out one at a time as far as clearance goes. And then if you have one of these little magnet picker-upper tools, you can slide that in there and pull the spark plug out. Makes it really easy to get to the back one. Otherwise, it's mission impossible trying to get this stuff out of the way. Next step is pretty straightforward. You're going to want to use a 5/8 spark plug socket. Put it inside of the hole, and make sure you put it on real tight, and then start to loosen the old spark plug. Once you pull it out, check it out. You can see here mine is a little bit old, and then replace it. Pull it out, put the new one on, put it back in there, and you want to tighten it up to torque spec. You might want to also apply a little copper anti-seize around the threads to help prevent it from locking into the engine. While you're right before you're about to put the coil back into the engine, it might be a good time to go ahead and clean the connectors with some electrical connector cleaner, and the inside as well, just to help ensure that no built-up dirt or contaminants build onto the connectors, and they introduce a really good charge to the coil. When it's time to put the coil back into the engine, slide it into the chamber or the hole. You should hear a little click. When you're ready, make sure you put the electrical connector back in. Hands in the way. Once you start sliding it in, the top of the coil will start to close. I'll show you. Pull it out. When you start sliding it in, it will close by itself, and then snap it closed. And that's it. Then you can move on to the next one. As with most things in life, nothing is easy. So in order to get to the back rear 2 coils, or spark plugs, it's relatively easy to disconnect the wires from the coils without having to remove anything. But when you get to this 3rd cylinder, if you will, it rubs into this, looks like a air conditioning or heating exchange unit. Anyway, it gets in the way. So what I started to do was unclip this hose from here, pull this out, pull it out from here as well, let it get out of the way, and then I use a 10mm socket to start to loosen this right here. There's a bolt there, and there's a bolt on the other side. I unplugged this adapter just to make sure I don't break anything. So just move it out of the way and keep working it loose.